Welcome to Marketing in Your Car, the podcast for funnel hackers everywhere. You are now part of a small group of underground entrepreneurs who are trying to change the world through the products and the services that we believe in. But because we don't rely on venture capitalists, we don't have financial safety nets. So we have to do things differently. We have to do things smarter. We do that through an art and a science that we call funnel hacking. Now, this podcast will give you a glimpse at the daily life of a funnel hacker. So let's get started. Hey everybody, this is Russell. Welcome back to Marketing Your Car. Hope you guys are having a great day. I'm actually backing out of Fred Meyer. Just picked up some stuff for the kids. Some milk and eggs that we've ran out of. And while I was there, I've been listening to Dan Kennedy's wealth building course. Or wealth attraction, how to attract wealth into your life. Which has been a really interesting. So I've been listening to Dan Kennedy stuff forever. If you look at some of you guys know on my phone, I've basically, as we're moving from the old office to new office, I'm trying to compress all my courses into, instead of having 8 billion CDs and DVDs, which I've had in the past, my brother and I are going through and we're shrinking everything into audiobooks, and then I put them on my phone. And so my phone right now has close to $250,000 worth of marketing and sales and personal development courses on it. So if you ever want a lot of cool stuff, steal my phone. Just kidding, please don't steal my phone. Anyway, so I've been going through all these different courses, and by far, the person I have the most courses from is Dan Kennedy. I think I've bought everything he's ever published ever since the beginning of time. But it's been fun. It's fun. I still go through his stuff and I still love it. And so this is his wealth attraction course, which is different than his typical making money and marketing, direct response marketing stuff. And so it's been interesting. And just a couple things. They're not new things, but the way he said them just kind of re-sparked my brain. And I want to share a couple of these things with you. So the first one, he's talking about, and we know this, we all know this is true, the entrepreneurs out here, is that a lot of people think that what causes wealth, right? And it's if I'm smarter, if I work harder, or if I'm a better person. But those things don't necessarily create wealth. There's people that are, you can keep trying to become a better person, but the laws of the universe or whatever don't give you more wealth because of that, right? And one thing he said that was kind of profound, he said, wealth does not care if you are a pastor or a pornographer. That's not, the pastor's not going to make more money than the pornographer. Money does not care. Money is paper. It has no soul. It's a thing and that's what it is. And so we have to understand that, because a lot of people, we try to make more money by becoming a better person, right? And those things, I'm not saying we shouldn't become better people, and you probably should not, you definitely should not be a pornographer. Let me step that back real quick and just caveat that lest you think that I'm condoning that by any stretch of the imagination. But it's interesting if you think about that, money is indifferent, right? And so a lot of times we're trying to get more money or more wealth or things like that, and we're focusing on things that do not have a direct correlation with more wealth, which is interesting. You start talking what are the laws of money that actually cause you to get some and get more and get a lot of it? And you think about it, it's interesting. Again, if you rewind back, who knows, a couple 100,000 years ago, 100 years ago, 1,000 years, whatever it is, it was all money was barter, right? So it was I've got a chicken that lays a bunch of eggs. My buddy's got a cow that has milk, and so he needs milk more than I need eggs. I got tons of eggs. He needs, and vice versa. And so we trade. I value, because I have so many eggs, these eggs mean less to me than that milk. Because he got so much milk, that milk means less to him than these eggs. And so because of that, we both look at it. And the cool thing he talked about in this course is that money's it's not a zero-sum game. One person wins, someone else gets screwed. Kind of this, I guess, I don't know, I don't do stocks, but I think the stock market's that way, right? For someone to win, someone else has to lose. And he says, with money in exchange, it doesn't have to work. It doesn't work that way. It's both people can win on both sides of the transaction. So how do you actually make money? How do you get wealth? It's coming down to creating something that is more valuable to somebody else than the money that they're holding. And that's it. That's the laws of wealth. How do you create something that's more valuable to somebody else than the money they have in their pocket? And if you can create something that's more valuable, they will give you that in exchange. That's it. That's the magic. That is how you create money. That's boom. It's really that simple. It has nothing to do with becoming a better person, be working harder, nothing. All it has to do with, do you have something that provides more value to that person than the money that's in their pocket? And if so, they'll trade you. And that's it. And if you can create something, and that's the power of the internet, and the power of digital products and software, all these cool things that you can create it once and then sell over and over and over and over again. Like that's how you become wealthy rapidly. And so I thought that was kind of interesting, and just I think all of us, on top of us trying to focus on becoming better people, it's understanding like the science behind money. Like what is it that gets people to have more perceived value in that thing you're trying to sell? What is it that like how do you actually create an amazing product that is more valuable to people? And then how do you position it in a way? And how do you sell it? How do you get in front of those people who would value it? Because not everyone's going to value something the same way, right? Like I value a cryosonnet at my house really, really high because I love it, but you probably think I'm insane. In fact, most of you guys probably rolling your eyes every time I talk about it, right? But for me, it was more valuable than the money, and so it was a logical transaction for me. So that was interesting, and I think something we should just all think about and keep focusing on being good people, though, because that's really important too. So that was interesting. And then the next part of the course he's been going through, which is fascinating, coming from Dan Kennedy, because Dan's very much like a like a direct response, right? You put X here, and this comes back. This is return on your investment. Blah 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 blah. And he's talking this whole section about giving. And he's like, the math makes no logical sense to the engineers, but it works. He's like, all you do is you give 10% away, give it away, which is funny because if you look at church, it's a tithe, right? 10%. The Lord says that we should pay a tithe. And so Kennedy's saying the same thing, give 10% of your money away. And if you do that, more money will magically appear. He's like, doesn't make any sense. Math doesn't make sense. Try it for a month. You'll never go back. And he's like, do it often. He's like, what you should do is, he said every time he goes on a trip, he takes $100, breaks down $10 bills, and he over tips every single person. He's like, I just want to give away money as often as possible, because when I do, it multiplies. He's like, I don't know how it works, doesn't make any sense, but it does. And it's cool for those who are Christian, or I don't know the other religions, what everybody believes, but it's a very biblical thing that the Lord has promised us. If you pay tithings, if you give, He will open up a window. He will dump so many blessings on you, you can't even handle it. And it like, as I'm listening to Dan Kennedy, this guy who's very not a spiritual person by any stretch of the imagination, but sharing these things, I think it's like the most fascinating thing in the world. I remember studying under Matt Fury for a long time. I got a bunch of Matt Fury courses, and Matt is a lot more on the woo-woo side of things, so I would expect it more from him. But one thing he said to me that had a huge impact on myself, he said the size of the hole that you give through will be equal to the size of the hole you receive through. And so if you're really stingy with your money and really stingy giving it away and sharing and helping, your ability to receive money will shrink as well. And anyway, it's just kind of we just finished Christmas, but it's Christmas time. I think it's really a profound thing where a lot of times, not that we should be looking at this for like, I need a positive ROI. I'm going to give money away for positive ROI. Like, but it works that way. It's weird. Like, it's one of those things that like, you don't have to understand it and you don't have to do it for that reason. But if you do it, you'll get those benefits. In fact, in the scriptures, it even says, like, the Lord says, like, test me, like, try it out. See if you don't get back more blessings by doing this thing. And I don't care if it's I pay my tithings through a very official, through my church and through like a very official form. And some people don't; they just give it away, and I don't think it really matters. It's the concept of giving, and like Matt Fury said, like the size of the hole you give from will be equal to the size of the hole you receive from. And I think it's interesting as I'm learning, wealth attraction from Dan Kennedy, that he would spend probably 30 minutes just on that topic of giving money away. And he starts sharing tons of stories about people who gave money away, who and like typically when people give money away, like it's usually out of guilt, right? Like they see other people giving, like, oh, I feel like I have to give. And he's like, it's not that. He's like, it's the opposite. It's like where you budget 10% of your money to go towards giving, and then you just give it away. And it can be tipping people, it can be paying through the church. It doesn't really matter, but it's like giving that service of you sharing that somehow magically, it doesn't make sense how it works, but it works. And it was interesting to hear that from Dan Kennedy. So anyway, there's some wealth building things to share with you guys that are kind of cool, I thought. One being, that money doesn't care who you are, and it's all about creating things of so much value that people will trade you for their money, and understanding that that's the law, like that's the science, that's the laws of how you make money. And that becomes your focus, like how to make this better, how do I get to more people, how do I get to the right people who actually want this thing. Like that's how you make money. And that's really the core of it. And then understanding also that as you are making money, to be sure to give, because first off, it's the right thing to do, and that'll help you with the whole like I want to become a better person thing we talked about earlier. But second off, if you're looking for a positive ROI, there's no other place you can get a better one, even though it doesn't make any logical sense. So just do it. Anyway, I had a friend. This is kind of funny. So back in high school, one of my wrestling buddies, and he was super cool guy, one of my best, closest friends through wrestling. But he was definitely not like on the religious, spiritual side of things. He never went to church. He never followed any of what you may call a commandment or a rule or anything. But it was interesting. One day we were cutting weight, and we were just when you're cutting weight in wrestling, like you're losing 10, 15, 20 pounds a week, and you're miserable and you're tired. And so the guys you cut weight with, you just tell stories and you talk a lot, and it's like how you get through the pain of it. And anyway, we are sitting there cutting weight, and he told me one time, he said, yeah, he's like, I pay tithing. I was like, you do not. And he's like, no, he's like, I really do. He's like, I have my dad takes 10% of my money and goes and gives it to church each week. I'm like, wait, why would you do, like, you don't believe anything. He's like, no, I believe that. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't know how it works. Makes no sense. But every time I do it, make more money. He's like, so I just do it. I was like, are you serious? Like, you don't even have any belief or faith. All you know is that principle works. Therefore, you're giving 10% of your money away, and it just magically works. He's like, yeah, I don't know how it works, but it works. And I was always stuck with me, like how cool of a thing that was. So anyway, I want to share it with you guys. Hope that helps. I'm home. My wife's walked out looking at me like, why are you sitting in the garage talking on your phone? You should be bringing the groceries in. So I'm going to go. Appreciate y'all. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed the behind-the-scenes look at our funnel hacking projects. You can also watch the Funnel Hacker online reality show and watch us build and launch funnels live at www.funnelhacker.tv. If you'd like to come hang out with your fellow funnel hackers, come join our Facebook group at www.projectclickfunnels.com. Oh yeah, and don't forget, you can get a free MP3 player with the first 257 episodes preloaded at marketinginyourcar.com. Join us next time, and remember, you're just one funnel away from your dreams.